All right, folks, football season is almost here. We have college football kicking off in 5 days and only 2 weeks until the NFL season kicks off, and I cannot wait. It is time to get back to football, and this week I am previewing the NFC East, a division that the more I look at it, the more I really don't like. And I'm not certain I really love any of the teams in here. I don't think there's any team in this division that can go past the second round of the playoffs. There's a lot of talent, but I think there's also a lot of distractions and a lot of uncertainty. So let's take a look at how the odds makers have it. So the odds makers on FanDuel have the Eagles at minus 120 to win the division. They have the Cowboys coming in second at plus 150. They have the Commanders coming in at plus 1100, and they have the Giants coming in at plus 1400. So how do I see it? So coming in fourth, I have the Giants, and this is probably going to be the worst or second worst team in the NFL. They are terrible at the quarterback position right now with Daniel Jones. He is a complete disaster. Everything I have seen in preseason has been bad. Even in camp, you see a lot of videos of interceptions. Not that that always means a lot, but right now they are really bad at quarterback, and they don't have a lot of weapons to help them. Their draft pick, Malik Neighbors, right now is a little banged up. He was going to be their go-to guy, so I don't really know what they're going to do there. They lost Saquon Barkley in the offseason, and they're just a team in flux. I think they're a team just really playing for the future, and I look for them to be going after a quarterback here in the next draft. So right now, I think this is really a rebuilding type year for them. Daniel Jones, with his contract, they can really get out of it after this year without minimal debt, with the minimal dead cap hit. So I just don't really expect a lot out of this team. Now, one thing I do love about this team is they have two legit pass rushers in Thibodeau and Burns, and they are going to be a nightmare for a lot of quarterbacks to play. There's not going to be a lot of quarterbacks who are going to love going up against them with those two pass rushers, but still, I think this is the worst team, or second worst team in the NFC behind the Panthers. Coming in third, I have the Commanders. And this is a team I'm not saying that they're going to win the division, but I think they could surprise a lot of people. I love everything I'm seeing out of Jaden Daniels right now. And at plus 1,100, if I was going to bet on one long shot to win a division, it would be the Commanders. And not necessarily because I love their team, more so because I don't love the two teams in front of them. But right now, I love what I'm seeing from Jaden Daniels. He's one of the players that I'm most excited to watch this year. I'm really expecting a lot of him coming right out of the gate. They got Terry McLaurin, who's good, but they're also a little weak outside of him as far as weapons go. You know, right now I see their starting tight end is Zach Ertz, who's been in the league forever. I thought his career was pretty much over, and he's their starting tight end. And they got Dotson outside of McLaurin, who I don't love. So they're a little weak on weapons. There's no one on defense who really just stands out to me as being a difference maker. But I am excited for their new coach and quarterback. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year. Coming in second, I have the Eagles. This goes against what the odd makers say, but there's some troubling signs right now. So a couple things I love. I do like Jalen Hurts. I think he has shown a lot over the past couple of years. I think he is a top 10 quarterback and has a lot of potential. I love their weapons. With you have A.J. Brown, and you have Smith Jr. They are as good at wide receiver as any team in the league. And Saquon Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley. My biggest question with him is, can he stay healthy? Now, here's what I don't like. They struggled at the end of the year. And when you hear the rumors about how Sirianni, the coach, and the quarterback can't even be in the same room together and they don't get along, that is a troubling sign to me. And I do not like Sirianni as a coach. I think he makes a lot of very strange decisions. They did bring in Kellen Moore on the offensive side of the ball, which I think will help a lot. But I really do not like Sirianni as a coach. And last year, I hated their defense towards the end of the year. If you look at their roster, they were probably the worst at linebacker and corner and secondary of anyone in the entire league. They were really struggling at the end of the year. They drafted some rookies to help fill those positions, but they're rookies. So how much can you really expect out of them? And then the last thing I really have question marks around them is around their offensive line. Jason Kelce, who was the best center in the NFL, retires. Lane Johnson's getting older. So all of a sudden that offensive line, which was one of the best in the NFL, now could be pretty average or mediocre compared to where they were at a year ago. So winning the division, and this is probably one of the divisions I feel the weakest about predicting, I have the Cowboys. And there's a couple things I really like about them. I think they have one of the best defensive players and defensive ends in the NFL in Micah Parsons. I think he's a complete game wrecker. I love what he can do. He's going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of quarterbacks. And overall, I think they are pretty solid on defense. I love CeeDee Lamb, and I like Dak. Now, the things that I have question marks, McCarthy, Made a lot of questionable decisions over the past couple of years. It seems like he catches a lot of blame. And then the other thing is the distractions. They have a lot of distractions around their team right now. CeeDee Lamb is still holding out, waiting for a new contract. And if you take out CeeDee Lamb out of their lineup, they're pretty weak at the wide receiver position. The other thing, Dak Prescott. He wants an extension. They aren't giving it to him right now. Is that going to cause distractions later on? And I start to wonder if Dak Prescott, he's going to demand $55-60 million a year. I don't think he's worth that money. And will the Cowboys be the first team in the NFL to say, hey, we like our guy, but we don't like him at that price? And that'll be really interesting to see where this Dak Prescott extension comes in. So I have the Cowboys winning this division, but again, this is probably one of the divisions I'm most uncertain about right now. So that's a look at the NFC East. Can't wait for football. We'll talk to you next week.